Alright guys, it's been a long time since I've done a haul video. The last one I did was back in October, middle of October, when I brought back fragrances from Europe. So, got a big one for you today. This is a massive haul. Lots of fragrances, modern ones, classic ones, vintage ones, yada yada. Lots of different things I've been buying, and I thought I'd put together a haul video for you guys to see. I know you love them. If you're curious to find out what I purchased, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, it's a haul video today. Look, this is a box full of stuff. It's full of fragrances in here, lots of them. And I'm gonna go through them one by one to show you what I've purchased. As I said, some classics, some stuff I've been wanting to do videos in the future. Well, all of these are going to fit in videos in the future. There's a lot of unisex fragrances, men's fragrances, and a few feminine targeted releases as well. So why don't we go ahead and get started. It's MAUBOUSSIN's AEQUALIS. Are you guys familiar with this one? I'm kind of wanting to dig into this house as there's a ton of fragrances that I think are worth discovering. And this one sounded really great. Let's go ahead and quickly check it out and do a quick sniff. Let's see, here it is. That's the bottle. And that's how the cap is. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. I like the idea of it. When I read about it, price was good. Do I like it though? Seems a bit ambery, fresh, and also spicy. I think it's developing. I think it would make a great men's fragrance. So this is from LATTAFA. It's KHAMRAH, and this looks just like Angel's Share. So this one I had opened just to sample. I do enjoy the bottle, and you know they've kind of done a duping job of kind of sort of making the bottle similar. So let's smell. I can see that this is inspired or cloned after Angel's Share, but as far as smell goes, it starts off kind of not really pleasant, but it kind of develops into kind of smelling similar to Angel's Share. So not the best, but I think it would be a great alternative, and I actually enjoy that bottle. Okay, this one I found at a discount really inexpensively, Fleur de Portofino. It was like around 80 bucks for a 50 ml. So I couldn't resist buying it, although I don't remember the way this one smelled. So am I going to like it? But that price is really good. It's great to have fragrances like this here in the studio. Fleur de Portofino, probably a citrus flower perhaps? Not the most exciting fragrance. Maybe a bit aquatic or marine or something. We'll have to circle back to that. We'll see. So Gucci, Flora, Gorgeous Jasmine. The gardenia is quite beautiful, and I really enjoy the look of these bottles. These bottles are really, really gorgeous. Here is the Gorgeous Gardenia. I'm sorry, this is the Gorgeous Jasmine. What am I saying? The gardenia was really beautiful. Have you guys sampled these fragrances? Very designer jasmine fragrance. Smells pleasant. It's not indolic smelling. At least not when you first spray it. And when I mention the word indolic, meaning it doesn't smell dirty animalic, because jasmine can come off very dirty animalic. So Boucheron's Ambre de Alexandre. Do you guys know this one? This is a very underrated house, and also Boucheron as a brand is very, very underrated. There's a couple more Boucheron fragrances that I just purchased also. I'll get to them in a bit. This to me is an amber, obviously. To me, this one kind of smells like YVES a little bit. So two more Boucheron fragrances. I finally dig into these. It's been a long time since I even wore a Jaipur Pour Homme or Jaipur Homme from Boucheron. And I never actually wore the original Pour Homme from Boucheron. I thought it's time to get these fragrances. Are you fans of these fragrances? Let's see how they are. I've smelled the Jaipur Pour Homme quite a bit. Like I said, I never wore it. But I was a big fan of the Boucheron Pour Homme. But the Jaipur Pour Homme I wore, I really loved its strong intensity, its warm spiciness. Let's start with the Jaipur first to see how it is. This is the bottle right here. And this is the Eau de Parfum version, by the way. I believe I saw an Eau de Toilette version. You know, it totally takes me back, but it does seem thinner, much thinner. I'm gonna have to put it to use, but I really love that smell. It's kind of like a warm amber, but there's definitely like aromatics in there, and it kind of makes it and takes it into like a soapy direction. I think it's nice. And then the original Boucheron pour Homme, very underrated house. In fact, the reason I bought these is recently I did on my website I have a shopping trip consult gig, and I did a shopping trip with someone that hired me to do that, and we stopped into Bloomingdale's, and these fragrances are there, and it kind of brought back memories of when I remember them, so I ended up buying these at Joma shop. The Boucheron pour Homme is very classic. It kind of takes me into that direction of something like HERMES for men, the original. Yeah, it still smells nice. Both of these are pretty nice, so we'll put those to use. On another note, I recently smelled a bunch of the Hermescence collection from HERMES over at Bloomingdale's. They have the entire collection, and I think I'm going to dig into them. I've been wanting them to change their fragrances from eau de toilette to eau de parfum. They haven't, but you know, I'm kind of circling back to Ombre Narguile again. Are you guys fans of that fragrance? That's what this one is. Ombre Narguile is kind of similar to Wajan, although I think Ombre Narguile came before Wajan did. This is created by Jean-Claude Ilena. It comes in a nice, beautiful case like this. And here is the bottle. I'm not going to smell this one because everybody knows the way it smells. It's kind of similar to Wajan, and I believe Wajan was inspired or cloned after Ombre Narguile. So they're kind of similar fragrances. Also, there's the Angel's Share and all those fragrances, and of course, this one from this Amber from Boucheron is also very similar. Here's a classic fragrance, Perry Ellis for men. This one I remember when I was younger. Look at this. I do have a strip in here. I'm going to spray this on. Very interesting bottle, but this brings back lots of memories. I love having these classic fragrances here because when consult clients come in for sniff sessions, it's nice to have them to pull out. You know, it doesn't smell as great as it once did, but it's spicy, kind of ambery, and also very aromatic. I feel like there's a pepper in there, lots of pepper, and maybe some geranium, which adds a kind of rosy pepperiness. So this is Vermeil, Jean-Louis Vermeil pour Homme. You guys know this one? This is one that I had on my list to buy for the longest time, and I finally have it. This smells great, actually, even though it's probably been reformulated to death. There's definitely the aromatic touches of this one. Let's see if you can see that. But to me, I get like this fruitiness up top, and definitely ambery, you know, base for sure. But definitely classic male fragrance from France, Jean-Louis Vermeil. This is Calandre for women from PACO Rabanne. You guys know this one. Ended up getting a really great deal on a tester. Sadly, I would love to have had the what do you call it, the cap for that, but I don't have the cap. I believe this is aldehydic. To me, it kind of reminds me of YSL's Rive Gauche pour Femme, because it's got that aldehydic touch in there. It still smells like it, but it's definitely watered down and very thin, unfortunately. But I love that fragrance. Now I need to find a cap for it. Tom Ford's Velvet Orchid. Are you familiar with that one? This is the bottle. So along with the Fleur de Portofino, I found a great deal on this particular fragrance as well. So this was around 55 bucks. So this to me smells like a black orchid, but in a different direction. Is it kind of got a violet touch, a bit of plum or something? Yeah, great to have. I think that one is not discontinued. I think it's still selling, but the Fleur de Portofino might be discontinued. Finally, with those two fragrances, I did end up getting a Love Don't Be Shy Extreme for about $120. I won't get into that one. It's nice to have to give as a gift. And then we've got Bois de Portugal Tester from Creed. I like this one because, you know, it's the one that smells very classic. Apparently this was Frank Sinatra's fragrance, but now that we have that Ghost Perfumer book, how true are these stories about these fragrances? I don't know. But I like that fragrance. I like that classic touch with that fragrance. So this is one that I had to find a bottle of because my bottle is really low and I know it's discontinued. This is Vetiver Extreme from the house of GUERLAIN. To me, it had a bit of more aromatic greenness in comparison to the original Vetiver. And this I don't think is going to be made anymore, so I'm glad to have found that. I paid about 75 bucks for it. This will not be opened. I have a little bit left in my original bottles. So this is one that I'm going to open here. My Shiny Vanilla from the house of Yves Rocher. This was very inexpensive. It was like 25 bucks for 100 ml. Probably not going to be anything special, but 25 bucks for 100 ml vanilla fragrance, kind of holiday-ish themed. Let's go ahead and smell it. I haven't smelled this one yet. Very interesting. It's got that kind of purple, you know, sprayer as well. Yeah, it's very warm, kind of boozy, but on the light side. It doesn't seem like it's extremely intense. They do have another fragrance called Cuir de Nuit, I believe, and even though it's got the word leather in the name, it's all vanillic. This kind of reminds me of it, but much more subdued. For 25 bucks, this is Eau de Toilette, the other one is Eau de Parfum. Some of you were asking me to review this one. This is Dolce & Gabbana's The One Exclusive Edition. I was able to get a bottle. I'm not doing much reviews on designer fragrances. I don't know if I'll do a review of this one. Let's go ahead and smell real quickly. I'm just not excited about the One series from Dolce & Gabbana. The one I'm really digging from Dolce & Gabbana is the Fruit Collection fragrance Pineapple. Really been loving that one. This one to me seems like an oudi version of the One. Definitely more interesting than the original. Seems like there's also some spices here. For sure it's better than the original, the One, because I am so bored of the One. I don't really care for that fragrance. But maybe I'll talk about it, who knows. Since it's also very difficult to get, that's another reason why I don't like to talk a lot about these fragrances that people want me to review. Usually the really good designer fragrances are really difficult to get, so that's the bummer about them. All the ones that you can find at Macy's are kind of really boring for me. So I'm not going to talk much about this one, but this is from Reyane Tradition. It's Wild. I believe it's Insurrection Wild? Yeah, Insurrection 2 Wild. The reason I bought this is because Mugler, or L'Oreal in this case, has not relaunched Pure Havane, and this is kind of like a alternative version of Pure Havane. It does smell very similar, very close, not identical. So I wanted to have a backup bottle. It's very cheap, it's very inexpensive, and so I just wanted to have a bottle in case Mugler never relaunches Pure Havane. I should take it back. I do have a couple more fragrances that I discovered along with the Tom Fords and the Kilian. This is Aromatics Elixir. This is a feminine fragrance, but I think men can totally pull this off because they have the male version of this from HERMES called 500. 500 or 900? I'm drawing a blank. But this is kind of oak mossy and patchouli. Got these for about 25 bucks each. 1.5 ounce, I guess it says. It's a 45 ml. So it's fairly inexpensive. I like them just to have here and also for clients. Are you guys fans of that one? Let me know, put a comment down. So this is a fragrance that I wanted to have, and unfortunately it's not a sprayer. This is from the house of Krizia. It's Moods pour Homme, or Uomo which in this case. This is a classic men's fragrance, and this brand is not talked much about. Are you a fan of this house? Here's what the bottle looks like. I really love this bottle. Reminds me or takes me back to the 80s. So it's a splash bottle. It's very, you know, kind of like powerhouse men's fragrance style. I'm not gonna, you know, splash that on right now, but if you're a fan of that one, let me know. I really love that bottle, and it seems like it's been kept in a perfect condition. I don't know how old it is, how long ago it was produced, but seems like a very classic bottle. Here's another fragrance from the house of Victorinox. This is called Rock. This was also very inexpensive. Let's go ahead and smell this one. To me, this is, once again, very masculine, a bit ambery, but also very fresh and spicy. I feel like there's pink pepper or pepper in here. Would make for a great wear for a man if they're looking for something inexpensive and not wanting to smell like every other designer men's fragrance out there. I'm not saying this is truly original as a scent. I don't know why it's not closing. But it smells a little better than like that similar kind of men's fragrances that are like amber woody and things like that are very, very popular. So if you want something original, check this out. I think I paid about 30 bucks for this one, Rock from Victorinox, and it's definitely very classy. So a few more fragrances before we wrap up. Not a few, maybe several more, but this is Vinegar de Toilette from the house of Diptyque. Are you guys familiar with this? This is the most unique fragrance ever. It's like vinegar, but very aromatic and citrusy, and it's perfect after a shower. Really, really fun fragrance, and great to have, and it's a beautiful bottle. Very retro, vintage looking. Diptyque has some really great stuff. I recently bought this one from the Diptyque store here in San Francisco off of Fillmore Street, the new store, and really love it. I haven't owned that one ever. I've gotten samples over and over again, and finally ended up buying a bottle because I love it. So this is Bergamot from the house of the Different Company, Jean-Claude Elena created fragrance. Are you guys familiar with this one? Nobody talks about the Different Company. I think they're just totally underhyped. And for me, this is a really refreshing bergamot fragrance. It comes with the little carrying pouch, and it comes with a funnel. And I guess you can refill here. I'm not going to smell it because, you know, it's that same traditional kind of smelling bergamot fragrance. Great to have just to kind of see what kind of work Jean-Claude Elena has done. And that is definitely great. I've sampled it many times over at Barney's when they were around. Next, it's Fleur Narcotique from the house of Ex Nihilo, another house that nobody really talks about, but more modern than the Different Company. Are you a fan of this house? This is now my 4th fragrance from the house of Ex Nihilo. And Fleur Narcotique supposedly is one of the best fragrances from this house. Let's see, I have sampled it in the past, but this is kind of a blind buy for me right now. I believe Fleur Narcotique also is a floral fragrance. But many people mention this to me and I just never really dig into it. Oh boy. Wow. That smells great. Very fresh, but very floral, a bit tropical as well. Wow, I think that one's gonna be great in the summertime. This is really, really wonderful. Any fans of Fleur Narcotique? Do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. That's wonderful. That is really, really delicious. I do enjoy floral fragrances, but the way that one smells is very fresh and tropical, maybe a bit boozy, kind of going in the direction of something like, what's the Goldfield and Banks fragrance, Sunset Hour, I believe it's called. I've already spoken about this one. This is a great deal I got from Saks Fifth Avenue. Ordered it on just the day before Black Friday, I believe, the day before or on Black Friday. This is Leatherize. I've already spoken about it. Go catch my video about it. It's more of a primer. And then also, I've spoken a lot about this one. I bought both of these from Saks because they had the 15% discount and plus 10% cashback. I believe when I bought these, it was actually around 15% cashback, so I don't know what. And also Leatherize, both of these are primers. Completely different direction primers though. One goes into a very dark, smoky, rubbery leather. The other one is very fresh and molecular, musky and ambery. Really great fragrances as primers or to wear on their own. Really wonderful. In fact, yesterday when I was over at Neiman Marcus, one of the ladies that came in as a customer said this is one of the fragrances she wears. She really loves it. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is YVES 7, a very popular fragrance from this house. It's a kind of an incensey fragrance, I believe. Let's go ahead and sample it. I speak a little bit about this house. It's definitely a great underrated Spanish house under LVMH. If you guys don't know LVMH, it's a Spanish house, luxury house, and they've got a really great collection of fragrances. And this one's kind of stuck and not coming out of its box. Here it is. This is it, redesigned in a new bottle. YVES 7. Let's go ahead and get a strip and smell this. I really like the fragrances from this house. Nobody talks about them though. I don't know, maybe people from Spain talk about this brand, but it's just they don't sell a lot of the fragrances here in the States, so. This to me is a spicy, kind of incensey, but not very smoky, ambery fragrance. It's a bit subdued in this new bottle. I remember it in the blue bottle, but still, I think it would make for a great men's fragrance. This is a men's fragrance, and do let me know if you're a fan of YVES, if you like any of their fragrances. I'd like to find out. So I bought a couple of vintage fragrances from Chanel. I bought number 18 in Eau de Toilette, and I also bought Missia in Eau de Toilette. So these were secondhand purchases. I already have number 18 in Eau de Parfum, but really love Eau de Toilette versions of these fragrances. And what I like about the number 18 is the ambrette seeds. It's musky, a little fruity, a little you know, boozy. And then there's also this major medicinal component about this particular fragrance. I really love that fragrance. So that would be a great fragrance to have on hand. And then Misia is the violet fragrance. This is also an Eau de Toilette. So it's leathery and violet, and it has the actual flowers here. So definitely a beautiful fragrance. Really great to have it in the Eau de Toilette concentration, because definitely worth it. Because even though I have no problem with the Eau de Parfums, I think they're great to me. This is what we can have, this is what we can have. But when I got my chance to buy these in Eau de Toilette, I took advantage of it. So finally bought Oud Nude from Guerlain, this one. Another deal from, this time, Neiman Marcus here in San Francisco. They were having dollar off. I'm kind of tired of their gift card promos, but whenever they do dollar off or percentage off, I take advantage of them. This, along with another fragrance, I spend a certain amount and they took $1 off. Out of the 3 fragrances they launched in the collection, Oud Kohl, Cherry Oud, and Oud Nude. Really love the way Oud Nude smells. It's really kind of powdery, very soft, and a bit musky, skin scenty kind of oud. Really beautiful. I really like this one a lot. Definitely deserves to be in my collection. Although it does remind me a bit of other fragrances out there, Middle Eastern style fragrances, because there's definitely a bit of a gourmand touch in there, which I quite like, but very Middle Eastern smelling. And I'm not going to talk about this one, but I do want to mention what else it is, because I bought this and Oud Nude to take advantage of like a $250 cashback deal. Petite Matin in the large bottle. Are you guys familiar with this one? I've spoken quite a bit about that one. It's a very fresh, citrusy fragrance. Definitely deserves to be in the collection. And then last but not least, I bought 5 different fragrances from the house of Parfum d'Empire, which I'm going to do a video about very soon. Do you know this house? The first fragrance I've already mentioned in a video of Immortelle fragrances. It's Immortelle Course, this one right here. Let me know if you're a fan of the house. But they also have a new one called Vetiver Bourbon, which I have. Stay tuned for the video about that. There's Le Cri, oh my god, a beautiful iris fragrance. There's Corsica Furiosa, love the name, and that fragrance smells fantastic. It's very green and fresh. And then finally, an animalic one, Musk Tonkin. Wow, that one's delicious. If you guys don't know that one and you like animalics, definitely check out that fragrance. But stay tuned for my video. I'm going to have a guest starring in that video. We're going to talk about those 5 fragrances from Parfum d'Empire. And that's the last of the fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. This is a huge, massive fragrance haul. A lot of fragrances to do content with coming up. So stay tuned for that. But let me know your thoughts on the fragrances. Let me know what you guys have been purchasing lately. Let me know if you know the brands or these classic fragrances. And the fact that I bought those Eau de Toilettes from Chanel. Do you guys like the Eau de Toilettes more than Eau de Parfums? Let me know. Put some comments down so I can find out. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.